management, there is always a lot of hands raised. And there is something I've later come to realize from my own personal experience working with myself, working with others, working with other schools. And let me just say, in the education space, yes, I've come to realize something that you cannot pour out apple juice from an orange. You cannot pour out apple juice from an orange. You cannot regulate your classroom if you are not regulated. It can't happen. It just wouldn't happen. You would always find out that you are struggling all the time with managing the children. I've been in spaces where teachers are in the class, there is some form of chaos, and lessons are ongoing. And you wonder how learning is taking place. Or you find out that there are a lot of homeworks or classworks fun or something like that that haven't been marked for probably series of lessons ahead of time or before time, and they haven't been marked. And you just wonder if, the teacher is in control of that class. I'm so used to hearing classroom management in only one direction. I've never heard people talk about classroom management through the eyes I'm going to be taking it from today. That is why tonight I'm going to start with a statement that might make some of you slightly uncomfortable. And it's the truth that we don't usually ask ourselves. Maybe because we weren't brought up that way, or probably because it's not something we are culturally exposed to. So I'll bring it to us today. And I really, really want us to sit with what I'm sharing because it's something that I know is almost 100% absent. All right, let me just be a little fair. Let me just say probably 85% because I've hardly been in spaces where you find that this exists. So most classroom management trainings will teach you how to control children. Yeah, it will teach you how to control children, how to control your class. But this night, I am not going to do that at all. And I know that's what you're expecting. I'm not going to give you handouts on how to control your class because I've grown to see that when you're working with children, they need more than control, a lot more than control because they are a lot more than what we think control will do to them. They need a lot more than that. And you know why? Because they are human. They are human. And this is why a lot of classrooms have major problems. The educators are not regulated. I want to talk about how to control you, the educator, you, the teacher, you, the person that is in charge. That's what I want to talk about. And you see how it greatly influences or affects the way you manage your classroom. Because the truth that, we haven't been taught about, or should I say as teachers, we weren't trained or exposed to, or if we were trained, attention wasn't placed in that area, is that your classroom will never be calmer than you are. Never. It will never be calmer than you are. You can have the best sitting arrangements, the best rules on the world, the best reward charts in Nigeria or Africa. But if you walk into that classroom anxious, reactive, or emotionally drained, your classroom will absorb all that energy before you even open your mouth. Do you agree with me? Do you agree with me? Before you open your mouth, all that energy will be absorbed by the children. So tonight, we are starting somewhere different. We are starting with you. We're not starting with the class. We're not starting with a lesson plan. We're not starting with timetables or routines because I've realized that all those don't work if this particular area isn't properly sorted out. Are you ready? So, emotional regulation. That is the first classroom management tool that I want to share with everybody. It's the very first classroom management tool. So I want to ask you something honestly, very honestly, right? How many of you have raised your voice at a child, right? I know a lot of us do it. How many of you have raised your voice at a child and probably 30 seconds later or 30 minutes later, you now regret it? Please Just raise your hands. You can raise your hand so that I will see it, or you can drop a comment. You've yelled at a child. You've done something that you're not particularly happy about, and then you begin to regret it after it has been done. Anybody here can raise your hands? You know where to raise your hands. Fine. If you don't, you can just unmute your mic and say yes. Oh, beautiful. Oh, beautiful. Oh, we are many. All right, that's lovely. Thanks for the interaction. All right, so I'm going to I'm going to carry on. I just wanted some acknowledgements to know if I'm not alone because I have done it, but somehow I've gotten to yeah, I can see more. That's lovely. So let's put our hands down, and that's there is a gap. That gap, between what happened and then how you reacted. There's always a gap there between whatever happened in your class, whatever event happened, whatever disturbance happened. There is gap between that event and then your reaction. So that little gap is what is called emotional regulation. That is the window for emotional regulation. And it is the single most underrated classroom management skill that nobody trained us on. I'm telling you, when something goes off, not even in the class, let's go beyond the classroom, at home, on the street, in the bus, in the vehicle, on the road while driving, on the street while strolling, anything that happens that requires some form of alarming response, the gap between the event and then your reaction is that space for emotional regulation. And it is the single most underrated classroom management tool or skill that we weren't trained about. So emotional regulation is your ability to notice what you are feeling. Just notice what you are feeling. First, pause before you act on it. Okay? Before you act on it, you just pause before you act on it. You can just give yourself 3 seconds and choose the response instead of firing a reaction. And I have witnessed and seen a lot of reactive teachers. Something goes wrong, and the next thing we are doing is we're just reacting. We're just reacting. Hey, stop that. You come here. We just react. We don't even stop to think and question and show some form of curiosity and choose our responses. What I'm saying might be simplistic, but it is so, so important. That's what helps me as a person. The truth is, children do not, just misbehave because of what they are feeling. That is children for you. We can regulate, we can control ourselves, we can pretend, we can decide on what we want to do. But children, they are so black and white, so transparent, so authentic. Whatever they are feeling is what you see. Sometimes classroom spirals because of what we are feeling and not, I don't know, how would I put it? Sometimes it's not what is happening, it is what we are projecting that causes the instability in the classroom. That's why I always tell a lot of educators that whatever it is I'm going through at home, just leave it at home. Just leave it at home. Don't bring it into the school. If you're feeling so unsettled, what you can do is call someone, talk to someone, crack a joke, laugh about it. It will physically relieve your chest. So I want you to think of yourself as carrying some internal weather into the classroom every single day. So if you want to, probably if you walk into your class frustrated already, right? Maybe from traffic, from home stress, you had a problem with someone outside or your spouse or your parents or your sibling, and it's unresolved, right? That storm will walk into your classroom with you if you don't sort it out before getting into the class. And children, they're so sensitive that they sense it before they even understand what's going on. They sense every single thing. A class that is normally calm can suddenly become to feel chaotic. And it's not because the children changed, but it's because your own weather has changed. You came in with an energy that was just not settling, and they will feel it. I'm telling you, this is why two teachers can handle, the exact same disruptive child, right? And they will handle them completely differently. Two different teachers can handle the same disruptive child and they will handle that child differently. One teacher is regulated and the other teacher is reactive. But that child is the same. The child is a constant. And the outcome is not. And what does that prove? That the child is not the problem, but the teachers, the approach the teachers use is what will determine the outcome. I hope we are together. Okay? That is exactly what determines the outcome. How we respond to every single child, because children are different. They have different experiences. They come from different homes. They have some have difficult dads, some have difficult moms, some have loving parents. But whatever it is, right? Children would always come in differently. You can't have children that are the same in your class. There are some that would listen, there are some that are just outrightly ready to disturb, and some are after your life. Some are just after you. And it's now left to you not to decide that you're not going to be responsive or you're not going to be reactive. You want to be self-regulated, because it's only when you're regulated internally that you're going to be able to co-regulate other children. So this is what I want you to do. I want every single one of you to start using this particular week, this very week, as we resume, as we continue this week, okay? So before you respond to any disruptive behavior, just give yourself 3 seconds, please. I hope you remember. Just give yourself 3 seconds. And those 3 seconds will make a massive difference. In those 3 seconds, you can ask yourself, what am I about to do? Am I about to respond to help this child? Or I'm just about to release my own frustration? And to tell you the truth, most times we release our frustration on children and we don't even know it. That's the sad part. We don't know. We just react. We don't know. Those 3 seconds of pausing that you are doing, right, is the difference between a teacher who manages a classroom and a teacher who is managed by the classroom. Just 3 seconds. In fact, from tomorrow, I will be very, very curious, right, and enthusiastic towards seeing your response tomorrow on the group. If you remember, if anything happens, please write on the group that I did my 3 seconds, I did my 3 seconds, or I had my 3 seconds, because it helps. There are times when you find out that you're going to respond in a very negative way because probably, let's see, a child is lying, outrightly lying at something you know is inaccurate. And the next thing you do is you yell, you threaten, you get agitated. And guess what? The child will still continue lying. In fact, that child, because of your agitation, will emphasize and double down on that lie. Or because the child stole something. Or because you've been telling children in the classroom to keep quiet and they refuse to lower their voice. And then you just burst out. But if you had your 3 seconds, you had enough time to say, oh, hold it. Maybe I should use a game instead. Or hold it. Maybe I should give them an assignment. Hold it. Maybe I should take them outside. Hold it. Maybe they're tired. You know, maybe. You might ask questions, or maybe they want to have, maybe my class is boring. Maybe my class is boring. When you are really invested in the children, you will you will not be a reactive teacher. You will not be a reactive educator or a learning facilitator. You will be somebody who is regulated, who thinks before they talk, and who takes their 3 seconds to regulate. Are we together? Now let us go one layer deeper. All right. I've done the surface. Let's go one layer deeper. Emotional intelligence. We've done emotional regulation, which is being able to pause for 3 seconds right after something goes wrong or probably after an event. The next is emotional intelligence. Now, this is your ability to read what is, happening beneath the behavior that you see. What is happening beneath the behavior that you see? I've once given an example where a child was, I wouldn't want to say stealing because stealing is too strong for children. I would just say pilfering, other children's items in the school. And it wasn't something that was, if you could leave your money in school, you come back after 3 years, you find your money there. If somebody didn't pick it for you, you find it where you left it. And all of a sudden, things were getting missing. And we found out that it was a little boy. At the end of the day, what we were able to realize was that his parents weren't giving him things that other children were bringing to the school. So other children brought snacks and all of that. and he wanted snacks. So what he did was he was taking other children's snacks when nobody was watching, and he was also taking people's money so that he could buy those snacks. So that was what we were able to find out when we did our due diligence. We didn't threaten him, we didn't make him feel bad. In fact, we reassured him when we found out that he was the one stealing all the while. Because I had to start asking, okay, were you the one that took this? He said yes. Were you the one that took this? He said yes. Were you the one that he said yes? And he kept on listening. In fact, at the point my hands were shaking. I think I almost cried because we were wondering who this serial, should I say stealer is, or thief. I kept on wondering, who is this person? Who is taking things? And it was a boy. It was a little boy. I think he was in grade 3 or so, either grade 2 or grade 3. So we knew that there was something wrong. And when we found out, I had to call his aunt, and I told his aunt, because I told him, if you tell me the truth, I'm not going to tell your parents. So he told me everything. And of course, I did tell his parents. I called his aunt and I told his auntie that, see, this child, this is what has been going on. And please, please, we need you to buy him his own juice. We need to buy him his own snacks. Buy him his snacks, buy him his juice, and always have him bring them to school every day because that's what he wants. And adults definitely will call it stealing. But for a child, I wouldn't call it stealing. I would just feel the child is looking for a way out. And if you are patient enough to have your 3 seconds, give that child a break, give that child a chance, you would know, you'll be able to find answers, you'll be able to give reasons to why children behave the way they do. You will not just attack because we are so big on attacking children. In fact, there was a time I had an experience of two learning facilitators. They came to me and they told me that a boy was touching another child's bum bum. And when I looked at the little children, they were so tiny. They were 3 and 4 or 4 and 4 or something. And I looked at them and I was wondering that how could this be? Touching, how? So I just asked, okay, where did you see? Did you see anybody touching anybody's bum bum? They both said no. Then I asked that, okay, so where did you see that? He said, I don't know, nowhere. So I said, okay, one of them, and I said, okay, what happened? So one of them said he just sat down and the other person pointed at his bum bum. So I said, oh, I kind of got the picture of what was going on. What was going on was that he went to use the restroom, and by the time he got back, he didn't raise his trouser. he didn't raise his trouser up very well. And the second child pointed at him, and of course, he touched him and said, "See your bum bum." And because the teacher's eye caught it at that point, they had escalated it to what their mind was already thinking about. Which is why I see that we view the world through our own eyes, through our own perception, not through what reality is telling you. So by the time we were able to declutter it, and I looked at the teachers, I said, okay, is this what happened? And they were like, okay, yes, yes, yes. And they realized that, oh, okay, it wasn't what they were thinking. But it was just two naughty little boys who were being silly, and they were laughing over innocent over an event that they saw. Okay, so that is when you are able to read beyond, a little bit deeper or a little bit beneath what is currently happening. So when a child disrupts your class, an untrained instinct says, stop that behavior. You just say, stop that behavior, and then you continue what you're doing, and all you're doing is barking at that child. Emotionally intelligent instincts would ask, what is this behavior trying to tell me? Is the child bored? Is he confused? Is he hungry? Is he seeking attention because no one greeted them today? Are they anxious about something that happened at home? The behavior is always communicating something that is wrapped in inconvenience packaging. So we were brought up in a different way. We were just command, sit down, shut up, hold your lips, fold your arms, don't look, don't blink, don't move. That's how we were brought up. But as we grow older, we tend to learn the most appropriate way of raising children. Like some people say, if you were born poor, it's not your fault. But if you remain poor, it's your fault. So if we were brought up that way, it's not our fault. But if we keep on doing the same thing and replicating the same thing to our children and it backfires, it is our fault because we have the responsibility to learn and then change the status quo. Are we together? Now, it means that misbehavior, um, you might not want to accuse every misbehavior. Misbehavior just needs to be to be understood before you now address it. Not that we address it and not even bother to understand it. They are two different things. When anything happens, let us understand it. Once we understand it, it is taken away from our class forever because we have taken the lesson from there and we know what to do next. I hope we are together. So, emotionally intelligent classroom management means, right? It means you can observe a child's rising frustration before it becomes an outburst. And then we have the opportunity to intervene early, quietly, with dignity, instead of waiting for the public explosion, that you now punish publicly. And even the punishment will not be appropriate. And this is what I would call proactive management because you're not waiting for the problem to get to the point where it's unmanageable or you tend to have an outburst, but you project, I mean, you are sensitive to what is going on in your classroom and you're able to identify and treat it early enough. So the first thing you would want to see is while you're having your lesson in the classroom and you see two children giggling. While those two children giggle, you have to be sensitive that, all right, I'm doing something that is boring before the whole class begins to giggle. You quickly switch your method. That is just one way out of so many ways. You can switch your method. You can probably ask one of them to help you share papers, or you can ask one of them to probably carry out a project activity that you were doing yourself so that they have the hands on opportunity, or to be your assistant. So as anything is rising up, you are grounded, you are present, you can see what is happening, you are sensitive, and you are not judgmental. Please, which other way do you want to manage your classroom if you're not grounded? You will just be reactive and be wondering why your rules are not standing. So it always starts with us. Classroom management starts with us, the teachers, the regulators, the educators, the learning facilitators in charge of the classroom, the adult in charge of the classroom, who is meant to be sensitive, observant, and responsive, not reactive. Okay, are we together? Then emotionally, um, 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 how would I put it? Let me see. If you are, um, if you are, should I say, emotionally intelligently, pardon my English, emotionally intelligently starved. Oh boy, oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. I don't know what I'm going to say about the children in your class. They would probably be threatened by you. They would always have fear. There will be anxiety. You wouldn't have healthy growth. There will be no confidence. And you will think learning is taking place, but they are just soaking up what you are giving them and will probably forget it once you leave the classroom. There is no enthusiasm towards learning, and you are creating a foundation that interprets into negative experiences when it comes to learning. So when they grow up, there are certain things about learning that they experience that will get triggered just because of what they experienced in your classroom, because you were a reactive teacher. Now that we have built that foundation, okay, we have built that foundation about emotional regulation and classroom management, okay, and emotional regulation and emotional intelligence, okay. Your own regulation and emotional intelligence is key. Let us talk about structure. Okay, we've spoken about yours, and I would like us to go back and reflect upon what I've said, because the truth is you cannot regulate a child when you are not regulated. Talk less of a whole classroom of toddlers. That's the worst case scenario of toddlers. or those in grade 3. You know, grade 3 is that benchmark where you just have the wildest set of children. Grade 3, oh boy, you know. So if you are not regulated, there's no how you'll be able to do that. So we are done with you. We've sorted you. That's the foundation. You, okay? So the next thing is when you are regulated, you will now be able to co-regulate, because regulation without structure is just a calm teacher in a chaotic room. We do your own regulation, then we can move to the classroom. And the classroom needs some form of structure. So the first thing I would say is children do not rise to vague expectations. They're not, you might not particularly get the best out of children if they don't know what's going to happen next. Okay? So if they can predict you, if they know what's going to happen, if you state your expectations specifically, right? Not generally. You don't say behave well. What is the meaning of behave well? You know, you can say something like, when I raise up my hand, I want you to clap 3 times. Do you understand? If I raise up my hand, I want all of you to clap 3 times. And that can be your way of saying, everyone be quiet. And a teacher who can do that is grounded. So I've given you one tip. Or you can create your own phrase and your follow back phrase. So you can say, go, go, go. If you want them to keep quiet, you can say something like go, 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 and then the children will say salam. Or you can say, let me see, let me look for something funny. You can say whiteboard on a blackboard, and they will say pink board on a green board, and they will clap 3 times. Whatever it is, just be creative. So that is one way that you can get the attention of your classroom without saying, keep quiet, and then you hit your table. Because I've seen so many teachers who want a class to be quiet and they shout. And how can you make a class to be quiet by shouting? In fact, try this. I want you to try this, right? Children are making noise in your class and you want to get their attention. Just start talking without raising your voice. Just start talking. You can begin to talk, you demonstrate, you keep on talking. They will keep quiet by default. Try it and come back and tell me, and I'll be able to say, I told you. Just start talking. So that's another way. So another tip is let me see. A rule applied sometimes is worse than no rule at all. Children do not need a perfect teacher, they only need a predictable teacher. So just the way they want to know your expectations, they also want to know what you will do next. They want to know what you will do next. And let me stop and say that when children create their own roles in the classroom along with you, right, they already know what's going to happen when something goes in a particular direction. So they are not caught unaware. They feel like they're part of the classroom. They're helping you to manage the classroom. You are building a sense of responsibility with the children. These are simplistic but highly effective ways of managing your classroom. And you can only do this with your attention if you yourself are fully grounded. You don't let your emotions drive your classroom or your activities within the school compound. Okay? You drop everything outside and then you come inside fully grounded, fully regulated, and you can always say A'udhu Billahi Minash Shaitanir Rajim whenever you want to do or start anything. When you have predictable routines, right, there is lower anxiety in your children because they already know what's going to happen, especially in classrooms with diverse emotional backgrounds at home. You know, your structure is not going to be boring. Your structure is creating safety. Okay, so when children feel safe, when they know that, okay, I don't need to be anxious, even if I'm at home and something terrible happens, when I come to school, I'm going to feel safe, I'm going to feel loved, I'm going to feel at home. Guess what? All guard is going to come down, and then your prefrontal cortex kicks off, and the children will be so alert and so ready to learn. And you would feel like you're doing something. You feel fulfilled. Okay, that's the byproduct of your emotional regulation. And you do not always need words to manage behavior. It's not every time that we should talk. Just simply moving closer to a child who is drifting communicates awareness without confrontation. They won't feel like you're attacking them. Or just eye contact with a smile can do it. And some children, rather than stop being disruptive, they can even, oh boy. Some children will just continue, they will intensify and probably smile back at you and continue. So honestly, when working with children, we need to be so patient. And when it comes to teenagers, the key I would always say when it comes to teenagers is never engage. Never engage. Because you're a lot more than those teenagers. If you engage with a teenager, you're going to hate yourself for it, because anyone who wants to engage back and forth with a teacher is definitely rude, is someone who is not going to listen, and is someone who is probably going to say something you don't want to hear. So never engage children, teenagers, especially when they want to get confrontational. Don't engage, just let it slide, and it always happens to your benefit. Okay, so instead of constantly calling out a child who is maybe off task, just narrate the behavior you want to see. Okay, so rather than saying, why did you do this, stop doing that, just take the attention off, right, and commend someone else on what they are doing right, or you commend that same child on doing something right. It is only a teacher, I repeat myself, who is emotionally grounded that can do what I'm saying. If you're somebody who gets ticked off very easily, you will not be able to do this. That is why there is no amount of classroom decoration you can have. There is no amount of, I don't know, if you like, arrange your seats and let them stand on one leg, and then you pile them on top of one another in the name of decoration and making your class look beautiful. If you are not grounded, your class can never be managed effectively. So it always starts with you. You can say things like, oh, I love how this table is so arranged. This table, this set of children here are so quiet. They're behaving so well. MashaAllah. We are going to do this together. You are going to be signaling, or should I say, you'll be using the children you're communicating with as a model for all those that are misbehaving. And children are so gullible, they would fall, they will fall for it and readjust. But you have to be a good actor, you know. You have to be a good actor, and you see how quickly others will follow. But you have to be good at it. Sometimes many of us forget that the strongest classroom management strategy is not a system, it's actually the relationship we have with our children. Once children love you, they would never want to see you sad. Do we agree? I really want to get this feedback. When children love you as their teacher, they never want to see you sad. They never want to be the one that have done something wrong. And that's if you have been doing your job well. If you're somebody who has been in charge of a classroom, you're emotionally grounded, you know what to do when someone does something wrong, they would never want to see that they are doing something wrong that would make you upset, you know? And that's just how they are. They're just lovely humans. A child who feels seen, valued, and connected to you will rarely choose to disrupt your class or the very space where they feel safe or where they feel that they belong. Children who disrupt the most are very often the children who feel connected the least. So they are telling you something. When a child misbehaves, he is telling you something. Not verbally, his behavior is communicating something to you. Who has seen this movie? Is it like Stars on Earth? Yeah, like Stars on Earth. Who has seen it? That movie, if you haven't seen it and you're in this room, please go and look for it and watch it. That movie says a lot. It says a lot. That movie was made for teachers, like Stars on Earth. It's about the child who has dyslexia. In fact, I'm not going to leak it. Please look for it and watch it. And this is how a teacher should be. He's an example of how a teacher should be. Please, if you can, watch that movie. It would say a lot about classroom management. It would say a lot about emotional regulation and emotional safety. It would say a lot about listening to what your child is not able to say. And that is where we are supposed to be skilled, to be able to hear what that child cannot say. And they do that through probably misbehavior, being stubborn, being disruptive, probably not wanting to write, not wanting to read. One thing or the hating mathematics, hating to write, not doing homework. There are so many things that children do that is just communication. but rather we take it personal and think that the child is misbehaving or is being naughty or I don't know. We are so self-centered when running our classrooms. And it's not about them. It's about us. It is about us. Just be observant and see. Please remember, I would like us to try our 3-second rule and drop it on the group tomorrow, right? And if it's not tomorrow, if you forget tomorrow, try the day after tomorrow and just say, I had my 3 seconds and it worked, or I did my 3 seconds and it worked. You can even tell us what happened. I believe other educators who are not on this call would benefit from that. So 2 minutes a day, genuinely checking in on your most challenging students will manage more behavior than 2 hours of punishment ever will. Yes. You know, in my primary school, I've seen people beat children, right? When I was in primary school, I think right from primary one, you see teachers beat a child. Primary two, you see them beat a child for making noise or something. Primary three, the same thing is happening. Primary four, it's happening all the way to when I got to grade 6, it was still happening. And what does that tell us? That cane doesn't work. Because if cane worked, by the time the child is in primary 2, they would have all conformed, right? They would have conformed because they know they now know that okay, they've learned the lesson from cane. But guess what? It doesn't stop. They're still flogging children from primary 1, primary 2, primary 3, primary 4, primary 5, primary 6, GS1, GS2, GS3. They're still flogging for schools who flog. They're still giving punitive punishments for those who have the time to. And we forget the most important thing, the human being that we are communicating with and the human being who is the teacher. We forget to be human first and we skip our 3 seconds and just react. We just lash out, react, and we believe that we are teaching. We are not teaching, no. We are not teaching at all. We are not teaching. We're just trying to force a curriculum with a particular structure so that we can tell the school regulators that we have done the curriculum, we have written the test, and they have passed their exams. That's it. That's it. But our children are human. It goes beyond that. Why do you think our education spits out the kind of children that we have today? Then we have the kind of leaders that we have today. Because we've missed the most important part. We're not communicating with the human. We're not relating with the human. We are more vested in making sure that our children pass so that parents will bring their children to our school. It is more than that. There's a reason why God put children in your care. And I believe that He didn't make a mistake. He chose us for a reason. And our job is to see that we are doing the right thing. So I want to close with this tonight. We often ask, how do I manage a class? A lot of people have asked me that. And it's so sad because we ask these questions because we feel lost. We can't handle so many things. And it's because we are learning one theory or the other, we are learning one strategy or the other, but we are not listening to the child. If we could just try for once and just listen to a child who is being disruptive or who is not listening or who is not learning, and then we respond accordingly, we will get a lot more positive results and positive outcomes if we could just be human because we are listening to a child who is not writing. Why don't you want to write? Are you hungry? Have you eaten? Okay, you want to sleep? Go and lie down. Whenever I say I want to sleep, I keep remembering when teachers make children stand because they are sleeping instead of studying. So I walk into a classroom and I see a child standing and then nodding his head or her head because she's dozing. I'm like, what is going on here? He's sleeping and we are walking. So I made him to stand up. Please, how can you just make that make sense to me, please? Standing there, he's still not learning. He's sleeping. He's on his way out of your class. He has already boarded his flight and he's on his way out of the country and you're making him stand. It's better for that child to lie down for 5-10 minutes. And if you wake that child up after 10-15 minutes, he is alert. And you find a way of helping the child recover from what he has missed. So please, teachers, educators, school leaders, instead of asking yourself, how do I manage this class? I think a better question to ask is, how do I manage myself so that I can lead this class? Classroom management does not begin with a sitting chart. It does not begin with a reward system or those you want to punish or a routine that is meaningless to you or the progress of that child. It starts from the moment you walk into that gate. How regulated you are, how aware, how present you choose to be. Children will always be, they will always test your boundaries. That is basic. They would always test your boundaries. Like one child now is beginning to test my boundary. He's entering my office, and I've told him not to come into this office while I'm doing my recordings. He's peeping and gently opening that door. Right now, I feel like screaming. I feel like screaming, but I can't. I can't because I'm talking about emotional regulation. Okay. So let me take it again. Please go outside. Please. Please. He's smiling at me. All right. So it begins with us, all right? Not with our sitting charts, not with anything we have done. It begins with us. It does not begin with our rules and regulations at all. It begins with us. How regulated we are, how regulated we want to be, and knowing that definitely children will test our boundaries. Like this one here now, he's hanging himself all over me. He's putting his chin on my shoulder and trying to distract me. Okay? They will test your boundaries, and that is their work. That is their job. And we should be thankful to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that He has blessed us with these lovely, innocent, beautiful beings to cater for. There is a reason why they are with us. There is a reason why God chose us and put them in our care. It's because we have something to give. And I know that Allah did not make a mistake in choosing us. Let us make sure that we prove to Allah that He didn't make a mistake by being our best, by doing our research, by learning, improving ourselves to see that we do the right thing and we give the children what they deserve. So it is how they learn where the walls are, where are the boundaries. Let them know. Our job is not to react to every single test with force and gra. No, our job is to be the steady, calm, emotionally intelligent presence that makes your classroom feel safe. Makes your classroom feel safe enough for the children to learn from. So please manage yourself first, and guess what? Your classroom is going to follow. Alhamdulillah, I'm done. So the floor is yours. If you have any questions, let us ask our questions. If we enjoyed ourselves, let me know that we enjoyed ourselves. And then let us make this. Hamida Mustafa is raising her hands. Yes, please. Hamida Mustafa, you can ask your question. Do you have a question or a contribution? I can see you're raising your hand. Or was it a mistake? Okay. If you're not talking, it's probably a mistake. All right. So,
Alaikum.
wa alaikum salam rahmatullah. Which state are you
Okay,
calling from? Which state are you joining us from?
I'm joining from Kaduna State.
Okay, Kaduna. Beautiful. All right. What do you want to say? A comment? A contribution?
A question actually.
Okay, Bismillah.
Okay, so though I had posted it in the chat. So my question was, I heard you mention that to deal with a disruptive student, sometimes their misbehavior is sending a message to you, the teacher, and you're supposed to calm down and observe what they are trying to say.
Yes, please.
So sometimes there are situations where, as a teacher, you are genuinely frustrated, and obviously you don't want to hit the child. So you sit and you try to speak sense to this child and try to ask him and try to go emotional. I understand what's going on with you, and you're trying to talk to this child.
Yeah.
And in the moment, they look as if, yes, they understand what their teacher is saying, they're going to be good. But I'm telling you, the next, they are back to the same thing you want them about.
Yes. Yes, I understand you.
So, how do you say a teacher handles that kind of situation?
You know what? If you are the kind of person, I will still take it back to a teacher. I understand what you're saying. There are some children who are just bent. I told you, well, while I was giving the talk, that some are just after your life. They just want to see that men, they frustrate you. But you know what? Let me take it back to the teacher, because I've had teachers say exactly what you are telling me. They make it seem like it's so impossible to be so grounded and calm and handle children. But you can. Every child has a breaking point. They have a breaking point. That is one. Just establish that in your mind first. Then the second thing is that if you are the kind of teacher that wants a solution conclusively, you will stop every single thing you are doing, right? Because however you handle that child, you're also communicating to other children who are watching. So you stop it. Number one, you ensure that that child listens to you. Let me give an example of a particular, stand up, please, of a particular child who felt I think, okay, no. The children you're talking about is the particular one you're talking, are you talking about teenagers or those that are in, um,
Teenagers, SS1, SS.
all right, perfect. You know what? There is one particular incident I had with a girl. She was, I think she was 13 or 14, right? And she wasn't ready to follow rules in the school. Everybody was doing what they had to do, and she felt she could do what she wanted and get away with it. So I think everyone was, nobody wanted to engage with her. You know, there's some girls, there's some children who are just outright rude and not ready to listen and feel you can't do anything, right? So, teachers would just pass by, and to some extent, let me just say this, to some extent, the owner, the parent of that child is someone that none of the teachers wanted to get involved with. So they just allowed her to do what she wanted. And for me, it can't happen while I'm alive. Not, no, not while I am in that environment. You must be disciplined. You must follow rules and regulations. We will listen to you, we will hear you, but if everybody sits down to eat, you can't say you want to stand on your head and eat. Okay? So she came in, and there was something she did, I don't remember. And she was talking and walked away. And I called her back. And of course, I've been hearing about her misbehavior. And for me, one thing again that I live by is that the first time you encounter a child, it says a lot about how that child is going to treat you going forward. So I was ready to leave a mark so that she would never in her life try it again. Because apart from the fact that I believe in emotional regulation, I am also a big African woman. I'm deeply vested in Africa, in my country, in Nigeria, and I'm deeply African. But at the same time, I have an idea of how to manage the two and create a balance. So she walked out, and I called her back, and I was telling her to do something. And I think she was like, no, I cannot. The Oriag by me just woke up. So as she raised her voice, I just raised my voice back. And she raised, and I raised my voice back, and I stared right into her eyes. And this is because she had been doing certain things, and everybody has been, I already had a backstory. Yes, let me put it that way. I'd had a backstory with her, and I saw what she was capable of doing. That was what prompted that behavior. And it killed it forever. There are certain children you communicate with, and you know that, okay, this person just needs to communicate, just needs to be heard. There is a classmate of hers as well that was, that one, I don't know her name, I won't call her name, but whew, she was always in detention. She was always serving one punishment or the other. And I had to call her in. And I was seeing her on a daily basis. Initially, she was missing my sessions, and then she started coming regularly. And I realized something. There was a problem at home. She wasn't staying with her parents. She was staying with her cousins. The parents were hardly at home. And there was some level of bullying that was happening. And she came to school and was just misbehaving. Before we knew what was happening, everybody was saying, oh, she has changed, she has calmed down. Of course, she will calm down. Nobody was willing to listen to her. Nobody was interested in listening to what was going on behind the scene. You know, everybody was just attacking, oh, she's like this, she's like that. But when children behave in certain ways, there is a problem. And that first child, there was a problem, I noticed. There was an issue with her hand, and nobody was willing to listen to her. Everybody was just being silent about it. She had an issue with her hand. You understand? That's a long story anyway. But if you're going to deal with children, especially teenagers, it's completely different from how you deal with younger children. Younger children are more black and white. They do this because of this. They do this because of that. When they are teenagers, their prefrontal cortex has developed, their amygdala, they have an idea of how to regulate a little bit. They're a little bit older, they're wiser, they are responsible for what they do. And because they're responsible, we have to be creative. We have to be highly creative on how to deal with them. Because number one, they believe that you don't understand. They believe you don't understand. And they put you in a box, especially when they see how every other person acts. So it's not left for us to show them that not everybody is the same. That is, if you have not started communicating with them. But the first contact you have with them, you have to make sure you're not opening your teeth and laughing anyhow, because you might just lose them. I've worked with so many children. Your first communication with them, you have to be regulated. You have to be grounded. You have to know what you're looking for in your own space, in your classroom. Once that is set and they understand, you take them through rules, you communicate with them, let them contribute their own rules, let them feel like part of management, let them feel like part of management of that class, because I believe that is what works. Once they believe they're part of management of that class, they would regulate the class and they realize that you're not bossing them around. A lot of times, from the experiences I've had with secondary school children, the teachers are not responsible enough. They are not regulated. Because sometimes you get into the class and you see what is going on, and you can see right through that there was an error in communication. There was an error in what the teacher was doing. There's an error with the way the teacher spoke with the child. And probably the teacher has overlooked certain things too many times, that when it has now become probably 70 to 80% to explosion, they now want to intervene and solve the problem. How? You allowed it to pass the first time you notice it. So the first thing is, when you meet children, probably a new class, let them know your boundaries. You let them know your expectations. Create routines that they will work by. Teach them how to work with those routines and be consistent. Then two, anybody that falls out of line, handle it immediately. Don't overlook. Don't let anything slip. Because they're teenagers. They're not like children. They're not like the early childhood. They're not like those in grade school at all. They're not like them. So handle it. Everything is relative. There is no one size fits all on how to handle teenagers, because, again, they're all from different backgrounds. They have so many things going on at home, in their previous class, their friends, bullying, peer pressure. All of that needs to be taken into consideration. And you have to be patient and wise, and they will push your limits, and it depends on how you handle it. There are so many ways to handle it, but it depends on you. It depends on how regulated you are. The thing about regulation is, what I've come to realize is that if you are grounded and regulated, you always get intuition about the best way to handle every situation at that very point in time. Sincerely, if you are grounded, you always have the right intuition on what to do next. In fact, sometimes you will see you handle situations so well, you'll be shocked that I didn't even believe. I don't even know who put that idea in my mind. Of course, Allah channeled the idea to you because you were grounded, you were present. You were more interested in that child than your own frustration. Some children can be crazy. Believe me, I have seen it. I have seen it. But it depends on how you start, how you let things slide, how you comport yourself, the kind of words you use, how interesting or boring your lessons are, how you carry yourself in the school. Because they are watching, they see, they know everything. And then how skilled we are in our subject, how specialized we are in our subject. And if our lessons are boring, guess what? They will probably be drawing you in their books and passing the picture around. So read a lot about your subject matter. Make sure you are a specialist, and then you play out your lesson in such a way that you accommodate all learning styles and no one is left behind. If you're sensitive enough, you'll be able to understand that, okay, I have about 3 different groups of children, or 4 different groups of children. This one is kinesthetic. This one is a naturalistic learner. This one is an introvert. I'm going to create different sections in my lesson to accommodate all of them. Your class will never be boring. They will always look forward to your class, and you'll be able to ignore. Sometimes you ignore their misbehavior or their disruption. It's not every time that we respond to everything. So create a balance. It's not something I can tell you that this is the formula, because it is relative. Educators are different. Children are different. They have different life experiences. They view life through different lenses. So there is no one size fits all to treating all these things. your experience, your creativity, your presence, your emotional intelligence will contribute, and more will contribute to how you manage all these behaviors. There are some children who are just hot tempered, extremely hot tempered. What are they doing? They're just looking for attention, or they're copying it from dad or from mom. So if you're educated, if you're skilled, if you're patient, you will know how to handle them. And this is not something I can tell you how to do. It's your experience and your creativity and your regulation that teaches you how to do. Okay, this one here has slept off. He wanted to sleep, so he came to lie down here. MashaAllah. All right. Mr. Hamida, did I go close to responding well? Did I give you any ideas?
Yes, yes, yes. Thank you very much.
Okay.
You did
Okay.
justice to the question. Thank you.
Alhamdulillah. That's beautiful. Alhamdulillah. Anybody else before we close? Maybe one or two more people before we close? Before we close? One or two more people? Contribution, questions?
Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Good evening. What state are you with me from?
Good evening. I'm from Lagos State.
Lagos. Alhamdulillah. You're
Yeah.
welcome.
Yeah. Yeah. Thank you very much for
You're up.
the um, the lecture and everything.
Alhamdulillah.
I said thank you very much for exposing us to some things that are not really clear to us. Really, I really
Alhamdulillah.
appreciate your time and everything. So,
Alhamdulillah.
now, I just want to ask the question that, for instance, I have a child that I don't know how while writing or doing their subjects, they will still have something to say. And I try to I don't know. I want to I want to know, maybe I'm the one that is going to extreme or is normal, because I find it difficult for a child writing notes and still communicating, talking, or solving mathematics or composition. How you are thinking? How do you
Mm,
combine the two?
mm.
So I think that's most of the time the issue I always have with my pupils. So I kind of, is it that I'm going to extreme or is normal, or is there a way I can try to make them know that, please, while writing, try to keep calm, don't talk, and I don't know, please just help me talk on that.
Okay, so you're asking about why they are always talking while writing their notes.
Yes.
What are they saying? What are they saying? Are they playing?
I
Are
do.
they saying, boy, borrow me your pencil or give me your eraser? What are they saying? You know, this is what I
That
was
one
saying.
happens at
Yeah.
Okay, that one happens at time. But what I do is, I don't like people standing in my class. I tell them, if you have a friend that has what you have, call the person's name, tell them to pass it.
Okay.
I do. But this one, I don't know what he's saying. I even call his mom. He said, "Yeah, that's why he talk at home." I say, please help us caution. How can a child just
Okay.
be
Okay.
talking? What is, I don't I try to, that's what I say. I've been thinking of it. Let me just throw it out and see if
Okay. It is one child in particular that talks like that.
there are like three, but there's one of them is the one that is always talking, but there are like three like that.
Okay. He talks to himself or he talks to other people.
To his friend, even the other one, I've been punishing that one. So the other one is trying to adjust. But him, he's always having I don't know. I try to, like, what are you saying? It's not that anything that has to do with the class. You just like to talk
Okay.
while
Okay. Okay. Where is his chair? Is
he's
it
at the back.
aha, remove it now. Ah, oh, remove it from the back now. Remove it from the back. You know, try to do it physically first. Bring it to the front. And
Okay.
it's probably because he's comfortable where there are a lot of factors, right? But I'm just answering you from directly from what you are saying. So you can just change his sitting position and see how that works. I thought initially he
Okay.
was talking to himself. I was going to say, okay,
No, no, no.
okay, aha. So if he's talking to people, then remove him from the space where he's talking to people so that they can, there can be some quiet when you're copying your notes. So I
Okay.
think, yeah, you can start with that and see. And if it doesn't work,
Yeah.
just put it on the group so that we can discuss it on the group. Inshallah.
All right.
All right.
Okay, ma'am. Okay.
Alhamdulillah.
Jazakallah khairan.
Wa
Yeah.
alaikum. Okay, we have Lukman Aishat. Lukman Aishat.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi
Wa
wabarakatuh.
alaikum salam. What states, please?
from Oyo State,
Oyo, which part of Oyo? Ibadan?
Ibadan, yes, Ibadan.
Okay, that's nice. That's nice.
Jazakumullah khairan for the insightful lecture. We really appreciate you.
Alhamdulillah.
Now, my question is this. I know having a neat classroom is part of the classroom management,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm handling basic three class. So
Oh,
there's we used to have the issue of water spillage almost every day.
okay,
They spill water, and we used to mop like 4 times in a day.
okay.
So then I eventually told them that they should place their bottles beside me, so at least I'll be monitoring it when they are taking their water. So even with that, sometimes some will just take the bottle and it will fall from their hand. So I'm
Okay.
thinking, is there any other measure that can be taken to at least to have a very neat class that to prevent water spillage?
Okay, so your own problem is just water.
Though we also make noise, but actually most of the measures you discuss on this platform is what I use in my class,
Okay.
and sometimes it works. So sometimes they behave like kids that they are.
Okay.
So sometimes I just ignore them. That
Okay.
okay, just keep doing whatever you're doing. Then when I'm ready, then we get back to our seriousness mode. So
Okay.
we actually make noise. Even we are we are best in that.
Okay. Okay. I understand. If for you to mention water, definitely it is standing out for you. It's probably something that bothers you. Then, when children spill things a lot, when they pour water or they kick water or it falls from their hands, it says something. It means that they are not stable, they are not settled. Because I've worked with children, of course, in many schools and primary three, it is not something that happens regularly. So I can say for a fact that it is not something that happens with primary three children or children. It is very possible that there is something, there is something that they are reacting to, or there's something they are responding to. It's either they are always rushing, or it's either the chairs are not arranged in a way that allows free movement, or it could be that, okay, you say they keep it near your table, and in spite of that, it still pours. Just look around, just sit down and be calm and look around. Why are they always pouring water? And you see, even when they kept it by your side and they still take it, it still spills. Check. I'm sure there is something that is making it fall. Or is the floor not stable? Or do they always kick their legs and then they fall? Or there is something that makes it fall? Because I want to be sure. I just want to establish that it's not a regular thing that happens with children. So you can be rest assured that there is something in that class that is making them spill their water. Just check it yourself. I can't come to your class. I'll have just come to your class, sit down there for a day or 2 days, and I will pick out what the issue is, and they will stop pouring that water. On a serious note, so
What
just
I actually discover is that they are sometimes they are in rush and sometimes it's a mistake. But when when it becomes like 2 or 3 times in a day that you're just looking for more, and sometimes um it actually disturb the class. Sometimes maybe we are having class now, we are in the middle of lesson, and that happens. So it just disturbs the
you can
lesson at
disrupt
that
the class.
moment.
Okay, you
So
said something just now that probably they are rushing. So do you normally hasten them? Okay, go and
yeah.
take your water and hurry up and go back and sit down. Do you normally say things like that, or
Oh no. Once you say you need water, then I'll ask you, just go and take water and you go back to your seat. So I don't
understand?
hasten them at all.
Okay, okay, just take your time. I'm sure you'll be able to find out what it is. I'm sure you'll be able to find out what it is because it's not something that is generally, there is a general, should I say, mistake in every class. I want to say it is probably unique to your setting or something. There is something, just check. You'll be able to find it out, inshallah. And I would like to know.
Assalamualaikum
I
Jazakumullah
would like
warahmatullahi.
to
khairan.
know. Wa alaikum salam.
No problem.
Thank you, ma'am, for taking your time to take us through the session.
Okay, who is
Jazakumullah khair.
Waya
So,
from which state, please?
Oyo State,
Is this the same
Ibadan.
person or another person?
Another person,
Oh, okay,
another
okay,
person.
okay. All right.
Actually, I'm teaching the higher class, that the SS classes.
Mhm.
So my SS one, that's where I'm having issues. So
at times when we are doing summary questions, they don't tend to reason, to have this critical thinking before they write their summary. So at times, after explaining all the techniques, all the guides for them to, use in answering summary question, you will still see them. I don't know, maybe the comprehension level,
Mm,
especially the SS1.
mm,
So at time I'll give them time. Okay, I'll write like, let's say 5 lines of a sentence on the board. I will summarize it on my own way, in my own way. Then I'll ask them to do the same
mm,
and try to check. If some of them, they will, the way they will summarize it will not be okay. I will like, okay, think about it, do it again. Some will want to push forward to do more, while some will not even want to make any attempt again. They get, fed up
mm,
easily.
mm.
So I don't know what to do to consider that.
Okay. Some of them get, so this is foundational then. It started from their early classes. It's foundational. It's something that started way probably from primary school. Are they sound students? Are they sound in the academics? Because if they don't
Not
have that
really.
foundational
Just,
background,
just,
then they will have problems with you in SS1. So
mm,
it's probably that foundational grounding in being able to answer summary questions. So probably what you would want to do to make it easy, right, is just to probably take it to subjects that they like talking about. You have to take your time, probably stop your lessons outright, stop and break it down as if you are teaching, let's say, a 5-year old. You have
mm,
to break it down. Take your time and break it down once and for all. If not, you continue doing the same thing every day, every day, every day, and they will not get it and you'll be frustrated. So probably you will take 1 week off and use that 1 week to treat only how to do summaries. The right phrases, the right words, the way you want it to be like. You can use topics that are not related to your regular comprehension questions or summary, your essays. Pick topics that they are interested in so it is easier for them because I was in school once and sometimes you just want a teacher to finish and go. So do you understand? Yes, no, Ani. We understand.
yeah.
We come and be going, you know. So pick topics that interest them and then break it down. Take your time and break it down like you're talking to a 5-year old. And once they get it, they've gotten it for life. And
Mm,
repeat it, repeat it. In fact, they'll probably remember you when they are 40 or 50 years old. Ah, I remember a teacher that taught me how to do this. In fact, the way she taught us, you understand. So that one
mm.
week of breaking it down will help you and to save you a lot of problems the next 1 year that you're going to be with them. Okay?
All
So,
right, ma'am.
yes, Alhamdulillah. So, time is
Yes, sir.
already. Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullah. This is the last person, please. It's already over an hour. Bismillah.
Sorry, just a quick addition to the summary case.
Mm-hmm.
I think rather than just do the summary and ask them to do after her, she could make it participatory,
Okay.
meaning she leads the summary writing. She maybe the first topic sentence she draws out and then leads them to drop the second. So they are the ones doing the summary, but she just guides. She confirms what is correct, and then guides them to correct what is wrong.
Okay.
Meaning, if
Okay.
jointly done, rather than she does and they follow,
Mm-hmm.
they do together. It
Mm.
might help. Inshallah. So I
Okay.
think they
Thank
just
you.
need to be led.
Yeah,
Mm.
do
Mm.
that
Not,
when we are doing comprehension passage. Only the summary that I usually tell them to do it themselves.
no, even the summary. I think if you do that way, perhaps
Include that.
also help. Inshallah.
Include that.
All right.
Mhm.
All right.
Okay.
Thank you, sir.
All right.
Barakallah.
I can see Amina. Amina, hurry up quickly. Amina, hurry up, hurry up. Yeah, the last person. Amina Tajuddin, you raised up your hand. All right. So without any other person, I'll close this tonight.
Sorry, ma. Please, can I quickly comment? Sorry,
All
please.
right. Which state are you calling
Just
from?
few minutes. Yeah. No, I was one that talked earlier. I'm
Okay.
from Lagos.
Okay.
I just want to contribute to that woman that said they normally split water in the class also.
Oh, beautiful. Please.
Yeah. So I was thinking of, I don't know if they stand to drink water. Because in most cases, it's only when they hold the bottle while standing that it easily fall down. But maybe if they can bend to take the water, and maybe I don't know if they have a lunch bag very close to their lunch bag, pick the bottle, drink, and hand it. And she can, children, we can train them to that. Okay, let me
Beautiful.
see how I'll do it.
Beautiful.
I'll bend
Beautiful.
down, drink my water, then I place it back in my bag. So we go, bend down, drink my water gently.
Fantastic.
Then we teach
Oh,
them the
beautiful.
Islamic way. So then they place it back in their bag. So when they see their teacher do it, then they
Mhm.
also learn from it to save them from issue of pouring water, because they are old enough. Primary three should be able enough to take care of their things.
This is the best.
So
This is beautiful.
may Allah
Beautiful.
make it easy for us.
Jazakillah khair. That is a fantastic
Amen.
one. So please, I think you should model how to do it and take it slowly. Take conscious slow steps so that they see you taking slow steps. See you say Bismillah, and you make it a big issue. Okay, I think this is the one. All right, model it to them. Let them look at it. Take it as a lesson, if possible, a whole 30-minute lesson, and teach them how to do it. Let all of them come and show you whether they understand and see. You see, your water didn't pour. So, Jazakillah khairan. Thank you so much for that contribution. It was very, very insightful. All right, then. I think that will be all. That will be all. That will be all. Um, I have somebody raising up our hands again. We might have to end, though. This is 1 hour, 11 minutes already. We have tried. All right. Please, this is the last person. Just quickly ask your question or make your contributions. Last person, you just raised your hand now. I think your name is showing name not available. Okay. Okay. You're not saying anything. Are you trying to unmute? You don't know where to unmute? Your name is
Okay,
showing.
assalamu alaikum.
Walaikum
Assalamu
salam.
alaikum.
Walaikum salam. What state are you
Yes,
joining us
I'm
from,
calling
please?
from Kaduna State. Kaduna
Okay.
State.
We have Kaduna.
Yes,
All right.
yes. I wanted to also add to the lady that's talking about children taking water. I think, yes, I think she also allowed them to take the water indiscriminately. Maybe even when the classes is taking place, she said so. She needs to regulate. Okay, you are taking this water from so time. Okay, everybody should come and take the water, supervise everything, then
Mm,
keep the water, then the classes can take place.
mhm.
But when she allowed them to take it while classes is taking place, definitely
Okay.
is going to distract the class and
Okay.
she won't be able to achieve her task. So I think she'll create a time. Okay, everybody come and take your water.
Hmm.
Take, supervise them, put everything in place, and then
You
she
can
continues
continue.
her lesson.
Okay,
Yes,
that's
I think
another
it
very good
was.
response. I believe you are the luckiest lady today. You've had about 2 or 3 different contributions to how you can solve that problem. So that is lovely. Thank you so much for that addition.
Okay,
It's a way of regulating your class even. So if
yes,
you have a time for drinking, you say, okay, I want to have some water, please. You say, okay, it's not a time for water. You have the water break, or you will have the hydration break. And when the hydration break is time, okay, everybody, you can have your water. Meanwhile, you've already modeled how they'll take their
yes,
water. They can go in rows,
yes,
in rows. This row, take their water, sit down and drink. And once everybody's okay, you continue the lesson. Jazakallah khair. Thank you so much for that. So with this,
yeah,
I'll say thank you so much for joining us tonight. Our mentorship program is starting on the 1st of July. So if you have not joined, this is just a reminder that you can join, and you get the best of what you need as a school leader. It's very important that we all know these things. So you can join me, you can chat me up and join me by July, inshallah. And inshallah, would see you same time next week for another meeting, another session. And I'm happy we are all learning, alhamdulillah rabbil alameen, and everyone is contributing as well. So سبحانك اللهم وبحمدك أشهد أن لا إله إلا أنت نستغفرك وأتوب إليك. I'll send the link inshallah tomorrow for those who don't, either tonight or tomorrow, depending on once I'm able to finish up with the uploads. All right then. Good night everyone. Nice chatting with you all. Assalamu alaikum.
Alaikum salam wa rahmatullah.
Alhamdulillah.